Chapter 7. The Education of Cyrus in Persia. With Cyrus now returned to Cambyses, king of Persia, and his mother Mandane, we will see the great influence his youth in Persia had upon his character. Persian cities had a free square where their government buildings were located. At this place no one was allowed to market any goods. These government buildings were given, one to the boys, one to the youths, one to the men of mature years, and one to the military. We will first look at the house for boys. They were divided into 12 tribes, with leaders chosen from the elders who could make the boys into good men. The boys spent their time learning justice. As the boys brought up charges one against another of stealing or assault, their leaders spent their time deciding cases for them. When one was discovered committing a crime, he was punished. Can you imagine what Cyrus would have learned if the boy whom he had whipped while playing king brought up that case? One would also be punished for lying. Even cases of ingratitude were brought forth, for one who is not grateful to God, parents, and country often acts selfishly. One moves from the class of boys to the class of youths. The young men gave 10 years of service to their country. They would spend their nights about the government buildings for the sake of guarding the city. There was self-restraint in eating and drinking. One did not leave their post until dismissed, even if they were hungry. They ate with their leaders a simple meal brought from home, of bread, relish, and water. During the day, they were ready for the authorities who needed any duties done. When King Cambyses would go out hunting, he would take half of the young men with him, thinking this was a good training for war. This happened several times a month. They learned to handle bow and arrow, saber, shield, and spear. This taught them to rise early in the morning and endure both heat and cold. It gave them practice in taking long tramps and runs. They would have to shoot or spear a wild beast whenever it came their way. Each young man had to strengthen their courage when any fierce beast gave a fight so they could strike down the animal that came to attack. They would take one lunch with them, and if the chase took 2 days, they would still count it as one, since they had had one meal. This they did to harden themselves so in war they might be able to do the same. If one might say he did not enjoy their simple diet, let him remember how sweet barley bread and wheat bread taste when one is hungry, and how sweet water is to drink when one is thirsty. Those not on the hunt were trained in the bow and spear. Contests were held, and prizes were given to those who excelled. Such was the education that Cyrus received until he was a youth. He did show himself superior to all the other boys his age, both in mastering his tasks quickly and in doing everything in a thorough and manly fashion.